no Glam Man, unfortunately. So no production value, but don't worry, I bring the entertainment value. That's ridiculous.
Very good to know. What happened? Is he sick?
No, he's got a seminar for Zendesk, so he's trying to
Oh, yeah,
basically
yeah, for the platform. Yeah.
they have this
Okay. Well,
big online thing, and he's attending so he can do some optimization, all that kind of stuff. So
oh,
yeah,
great. I mean, it
gotta
sounds
love
better
that.
than actually getting sick, you know?
Yes,
Yeah, that's
exactly.
much better.
Yeah, yep.
Oh, well, don't worry. I mean, I'm pretty sure Moon gonna make something.
Yeah, exactly right. Moon will upload it for us for Legend.
It's nice.
All right. Well, we'll give it a couple minutes and then we'll jump into it.
So when the next time we get an update?
The next update is going to be early July. So
Nice. That's in
yeah,
about 2 weeks. Two and a half
yeah,
weeks.
I would probably say you can expect it like on the 4th or the 11th.
They was talking about PvP last time, right? Like how the next update they wanted to give us some PvP stuff, right?
I've been seeing some concept ideas for how we're going to do PvP.
Dark
There
Souls.
will be...
Dark Souls. Tell them
Oh,
Dark Souls. Soul Calibur. Soul Calibur. Dark Souls. Soul Calibur.
you're right. Yeah, sure.
Because you
Yeah.
ever play Soul Calibur?
Sorry?
You ever play Soul Calibur?
No, I don't think I've ever played Soul Calibur.
The PvP game is a versus. It's like a fighting game, like a Tekken game, kind of sorta.
Let me look it up.
Please,
yeah.
please. Yeah. Everybody had to play. Listen, now you see how the game was full of so many different ways to actually fight with one character by press, like even like holding a button, just holding the same button. You might do a heavy punch or a power punch, and it's like so many different combos that they put into PvP mode. I feel like they can take a page out of their book.
For sure. Soul Calibur 7. It's going to be Tekken 7 and Soul Calibur 7. Hey, dudes!
Dark Souls as well.
Yeah, okay. Well, we'll see what the design team come up with. The proof of concept, we had like our weekly studio meeting today, and that's kind of the way people showcase with stuff they've been working on. And yeah, the little proof of concept was really cool. They did good. I think everyone will love it.
I got a question for you, right? You see how like have you ever played Warframe?
No, never played Warframe.
So here's a good idea. It's not like what they did, but it's kind of similar. Say like whatever weapon that they give us, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like say like for example, if they decide to give us different weapons, right? Let's say like they give us a long sword. Why not give the long sword animations, like similar to real life? Like let the mechs kind of replicate actual fighting moves, like realistic fighting moves, and like just like say like for example on that long sword, right? If they would give us ribbons, and the ribbons may have different fighting styles, and by attaching that ribbon to that weapon, that same weapon, you can change the fighting style. It'll still be longsword, but it'll be other longsword fighting styles. That way, you can each mech and throughout the galaxy, people can have their own personal PvP fighting style. It'll like open up the world PvP a little more to us.
Good idea. I like it a lot. I'll pass it on to the design team. Be sure to fill out one of those feedback forms as well, because that goes straight to Liam.
Okay. Nice. Thank you.
Hell yeah. Alright, well, 12:05. This is usually when the Glam Man will play the intro music. So just imagine that there's some heavy metal playing right now, okay? Okay. So how's everyone been this week?
Good.
Excellent. I know that there was a bit of server issues over the weekend, and they seem to kind of be continuing on and off sporadically. We've been looking into these issues. We haven't been able to find anything on the back end, like server information wide, but we started like resetting any unused servers. So basically, that way, if somebody rejoins on that server for some reason, it should be more active and better. I'm not really sure what's been going on in the back end, to be honest, but we are investigating what the cause could be. So hopefully we'll be able to resolve that issue very soon. Any
Hey,
more
great.
information you guys can give me would be great. Like, really helps QA and the programming team, hunt down and find these issues in the back end.
I have the same issues on other games, so maybe it's Amazon Web Service that is clunky. So maybe the team can look into that.
Yeah, right. What? So you use an Amazon internet provider?
No. Like, for example, most of the games are hosted on Amazon Web Services. Like,
Oh, right. Yeah, I
so
see what you mean.
maybe Amazon has I don't know, something happened there because it happens in other games. I just went even like Call of Duty, even Gods Unchained that I played yesterday, I believe. They have some issues, so maybe could be that.
Right. Okay. Yeah,
I
I'll have
know.
to bring that to the
Yeah, I
team.
know it's not on your side, but it's on the server side. Maybe that was an issue. I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, it might be something with the actual server providers. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'll
Exactly.
pass that on. See what the big wigs, the smarty pants people in the team think about that. Yeah, we might have to investigate that because
Yeah.
there's been no region that's been unaffected as well, right? I think because what, Mr. NFT, you're in America. And Animo Carmen, are you in Spain?
No, I'm actually in Mexico.
Mexico. Okay, there we go. And then Moon RT. Okay, so yeah, Poots, you're New
Yeah, I mean, could
Zealand.
be.
Yeah, we'll have to figure out what it is. Because yeah, if the performance, we haven't changed anything, so if the performance has changed, it must be. We're just looking into that.
Oh yeah, please.
For sure. Okay. What else? The Zealy campaign. So the Zealy campaign, we got some pretty good results. We had 26 people who participated and competed. It was really fun to see so many people's different submissions, and especially the music. The music was a lot of fun to see. DJ Glam has made a little DJ set, so it's a 15-minute one. Maybe we'll play that in a little Discord DJ party, which would be pretty fun.
Oh, that would be. You know what? That would be cool when we can watch the next episode for
True. Do the
for
anime
the.
watch episode with
Yeah,
that.
exactly.
Dude, I love that idea. Definitely. Definitely
That
gonna
would
do
be
that.
cool.
Yeah, okay. That's actually great. I love that. We will do that. Awesome.
Hey,
Yeah.
talking about silly and marketing, like you
Mhm.
mentioned, with the new update, like we're gonna have like a very more intense marketing push. You
Yep.
mentioned a streamer and like mostly like when, you know?
Yep. So we're going to be having key opinion leaders and influencers. So we're starting those up very soon. It should be within the next week. You'll probably be seeing more tweets about it, more influencers on the Twitter sphere talking about it. You'll probably also, well, actually, you might even have started seeing more ads at the moment.
Opinion leader.
Because yeah, we started the paid ads push as well. Restarted that. So yeah, there's loads of different things that we've started pushing out. The Zealy campaign. So I know there was one particular community member who seems to hate the Zealy campaign. The main reason we did the Zealy campaign was because it's a very good way of like it's a very well established website that has a big following, and you can usually get new players and stuff, especially Web3 projects, through Zealy. It seemed to be that we had a mainly current users play that. So it's like it's one of those things where it hits both the current community as well as new players. So that's why we went with that. I'm going to be looking into doing another competition soon for the Discord, which should be a lot of fun.
Hey, that's great. I mean, just
Yeah.
like a tip, it will be awesome if you, instead of make like a just top 5, make a top 5 plus like a 3 or 4 randomly picking, so maybe more people have a chance, or reduce the number of mint passes to 3 for the top 3, and then another 3 for a random, you know?
Yeah, no, I like that idea as well. That's a good suggestion. I'll have to look into that. Yo, Hope and Death, how's it going, brother? Welcome, welcome. No, that's a really good suggestion. I'll have to look into that for Zealy, and maybe we could even implement that for the UGC, not the UGC, the competitions that I'm going to do soon as well. Yeah, really great input. I really appreciate it, Animo.
Hey, no problem.
Hey,
Happy.
Hey, Barker.
Sure.
Hey, earlier, right? You mentioned that that there were people a part of the team that were presenting their PvP like presentation.
Yeah, the design team, they showed a proof of concept for a PvP thing in the marketing, not the marketing, the studio meeting. Yep.
Did you see anything that's kind of maybe leaning more towards what we are asking for?
I think so. I think it's something that is more the way I can't really say anything because it's a proof of concept, right? So this is a very early draft. It's kind of just saying, yep, we've made sure that the PvP area will work. People will be able to connect. People will be able to shoot each other. People take damage. The abilities, etc., all work in it. And there may be lots of changes to the actual, arena and stuff like that. So I can't show you guys anything, and I can't really say anything because it isn't finalized. But it is what I would think the community want. It again will be in very early. It'll be an early version, right? This isn't something that we've been working on for ages, right? This is something that we're listening to the community and we want to increase the PvP and make some changes and make it more engaging. But also, this isn't something that's just going to be made overnight. We have a team dedicated. Most of our resources are put into patrols right now because we want to flesh that out as a fully made game mode, and then PvP is the next thing after patrols, and we're kind of developing it because you guys, you all wanted so much. So yeah, that's why we're looking into it. And yeah, I mean, it is. I think it is what the community will enjoy, but it's not going to be a fully fleshed out version.
Okay. Tell them don't forget to make mech form a little stronger than Starfighter mode. Like when the mech come out, when somebody transform and they ready to fight, that should be like, oh, you want to fight? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean?
Time to throw the gloves off. Hope and Death says, any hints on what the mystery tickets will do? It's not quite time for me to start making more hints, unfortunately. But they're definitely going to have some interesting utility in the future that I think everybody will enjoy. So keep collecting them. Yeah, should come out soon. And Hope and Death also says we want objective PvP, capture the flag, zone control, and team deathmatch. Yeah, I really want to see those objective PvP game modes come out as well. I'm unsure if the early stages will have, much more fully developed objectives like that. It might, because we might be able to incorporate some of the patrols objectives in there. We're just gonna have to see what we are able to put in, and we're hoping that we'll be able to get PvP in the next, big PvP update in the next update. But if not, don't fret. We are still working on it, and we're still looking on ways to make an engaging experience for everyone. But yeah,
talking about a little bit of patrols and early access. So we right now we are like 5 months in, almost half a year in early access, and I was wondering how the team is managed to deliver. Well, I mean, the thing I want to ask is, are we seeing an extended period of time for early access, or do we know that we actually gonna, well that the team will deliver the full patrol in these 5 months that we're gonna reach in what, in November?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
right.
That's a really good question. So I think that we're going to be seeing I think that we might be seeing an extension into early access. I can't guarantee anything. I'm not really sure whether or not we're going to be extending it or not. But I think it's an option that we're considering. But I would probably say in the next 5 months you'll be seeing more things. The patrols being more fleshed out and almost, probably being in the final form. Like another 5 months of patrols, we should be able to get a lot more engaging things in there. Figure out more, the activity points and the reward system in that as well. Yeah, I know it's a bit of a slow burner, but I think it's more important that we spend more time in early access rather than saying that it's a full release when it's still feels very early access, I guess. Yeah, the patrol should be a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to seeing the final complete version of it. But yeah, just gonna have to see what happens over the next couple of months. I think that the next update's gonna have a new map. It's gonna have a whole bunch of new things. So yeah.
Great. Yeah, I'm asking because, like, for example, right now we don't know if we even have like the core mechanics of the game. So I was wondering if gonna extend or not. If so, like how much we can expect to last early access.
It's a good question.
But yeah, I
It's
mean,
hard to. Yeah, I get what you mean. It's hard to put like a time on that, especially as I'm just a community manager. I'm not somebody who is actively behind the scenes leading things. It's hard to
yeah, I know,
kind
I
of
totally get it. Like it's important to feel, but at the same, I mean, that's the point. Like it's important to feel how we going. Like for us as community, we need to know like are we like going forward for the team wants? Are we getting behind of the schedule for X, Y, Z reason? So I was wondering like how are we going with early access? That was mostly my question.
Yeah,
For
I think that I think the team are feeling pretty confident with what the direction we're heading, and I think that everybody is. I think there's a common consensus that patrols, once we finally get it all out and we've reached the final version of it, it'll be a very fun and engaging mode that will captivate the audiences. And we're also, taking community feedback and looking into ways we can improve the game mode through the community. Lots of really awesome feedback has been brought into the, next update. I suppose, yeah, it's one of those things where we don't want to leave early access too early, right? Because, it's one of those things where you don't want to fully release a game when it isn't fully ready, I guess.
yeah, of course. Like you don't want to get burned. Yeah, that's totally get it.
Yeah.
Hey,
So I think
really,
the
they
teams.
just take their time. If you ask me, like I really think that they shouldn't even worry about time. They should just worry about putting out a great product. You're gonna trust me. Once it's out, it's gonna be out there forever, and there ain't gonna be nothing you can do to take it back. Might as well take your time. Let people can enjoy the game now. Early access. It's not like people can't play the game. They can play the game, and the more as they market the game, it shouldn't even. I mean, the way it is now, it's always good to have marketing, but once they have something presentable to fully package, then it'd be like, all right, boom, we can throw some money behind the marketing now. That's going to bring in the crowd, but people can still play the game now, so it's not like they can't play. So I think that they should just forget about time. Focus on the product. Make sure it's something that's great and something that can live for the next 10, 15 years. Like it's an MMO. So it's like when you think MMO, you think longevity. You know what I'm saying? One more thing. Are they thinking about making it an RPG as well? Like, I know MMO is good, but MMO could be anything. It just, open world, massive open world game. It could be massive open world sandbox. We want an RPG. We want storyline. We want death, love, betrayal, friendship. You know what I'm saying? We want a great story. Like, we want the story to be so great, and then everything else is the icing on the cake. Patrols is the icing on the cake. Raids, icing on the cake. PvP tournaments. We still want them tournaments. We want a reason for people to be out in the space grinding and farming. Another thing y'all was talking about rewards. What's a good reward for patrols? What if Rivens is can be a good reward, or like a way to get a Riven? You know what I'm saying? Like maybe if there's a new Riven coming out, and if you want to do patrols, or another thing, weapons, super powerful weapons like NFT weapons, or give us raids to where we can actually do these different raids and collect components, like maybe 4 components to make the weapon. Like this is like a weapon different from like weapons you can't sell on the marketplace. Let these weapons be something we can sell on the marketplace. Give people another reason to grind, and that's something that'll give people a reason to spend buy Astra now, because Rivens, it could be something that like you throw it on your weapon, and you all of a sudden you got a super weapon, or say like if you throw a particular Riven on a melee weapon, like you can throw super speed on your weapon. So now when you pull up on somebody, you fighting like Dragon Ball Z, boom, and they looking like, damn, how you move so fast? You probably got a great, awesome, one of a kind Riven. You know what I'm saying? And people are going to covet it. They'll buy it. They'll spend top dollar. That's something that people will spend hundreds to thousands of dollars on in game, or in-game marketplace, just to be that strong. So it like give us the reason to really want to play PG. That's all I'm saying.
No, for sure. Yeah, so the reward system, we're definitely looking into that. Obviously, at this stage, we don't have those kind of, items that we can add into the game just as of yet. Those kind of things are things that would be later down the track. But yeah, definitely options that we've been looking into. Liam and the design team, they're looking into those kind of things. Right now, we're, looking and rebalancing the rewards, such as, the activity points and XP, those kinds of things in the patrols, and then looking at how much Africa we should be giving for each bounty, that kind of stuff. Yeah, so completely understand where you're coming from with that rewards point of view, and expect in the future different rewards to be coming out, and new incentives and things coming out. There was also a first part of your question, or yeah, first part of your question that I didn't quite catch. Do you happen to remember what that was?
Was in the first part you say?
Yeah, you said something before rewards, but unfortunately I forgot.
I was it about the PvP, about the Rivens?
Yeah. So we'll also be looking into what the rewards will be for PvP. Obviously, items, etc., are on the table, and we're looking into things. Oh, RPG, that's what it was.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So we have said like we want it to be more RPG. We want it to be more story based as well. Obviously, the story, etc., isn't our number one priority right now, but in the future it will be. Once we finish this form of content, we'll be looking into what the next form of content is, and will we that'll be our priority, and then it'll be the next form of content. So you could definitely expect us to move to. I would probably say that it will be PvP after we finish off patrols. That's just at this stage subject to change. What I'm thinking, based off a general community command, like the community sentiment right now is that everybody wants to see PvP. So it's kind of like looking at part of my job is kind of looking at what everybody, in the community really wants to see, and the one thing that sticks out the most is PvP, right? So, from what the community have been saying, and what we think is most likely going to be, the most successful form of content, it will most likely be PvP, and then we'll be looking into the story content, which would, lead into the RPG, etc. elements. So, I know that it's
I want to ask
important
this
for us
question, right?
to take our time to get these
Speaking of
the content right.
Speaking of PvP, right, Barker? Later
Mm.
on, when they give us our planets, right?
Mhm.
I don't know if y'all remember, but like I want to say, like maybe a year ago, I was asking for this. Will they give us the ability to host our own tournaments on our own planets for the cost of Astropher and a large payout?
I'm unsure if we'd be doing the payout. You mean like the community members organizing
Like,
these PvP things, etc.?
like for example, like I still want to have the Mr. NFT tournaments. I still would like it to where like on my planet, right? Mind you, I got a spectacular ring system planet. I want to host tournaments on my planet, but charge people Astropher to enter the tournament. And then afterwards, we whoever won, they get the pot. And then I get a portion. What I'm saying, I break PG off a portion, whatever. I'm saying, y'all do what y'all do with the video game government world, whatever. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
we a money pot system, because think about it, it's an earn to play game, right? I want to host my own tournaments, and it's like to where it's like, all right, boom, I make a big thing out of it. I blow it up, advertise it on Twitter, whatever, and people come join and know like you got to pay maybe 2 to 4, maybe 10 extra for if it's like a big payout. You know what I'm saying? Like I got mechs that I bought now that I want to be able to actually put up as a reward for whoever won the tournament. So I'm saying, like, I want to kind of lure people in like that too, because I want a nice little Astra for payout. I'm saying hopefully the Astra for y'all fix the LP or whatever, and the Astra for go up to like maybe $20, and we can make it bag.
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely going to be having loads of different content on the planets, and I'm sure that we will be able to do things like that.
That'd be, ooh.
Yeah, it sounds like it'd be so much fun. I'd definitely sign up for it. I'd be abusing the breacher, green bubbling everyone. No, I definitely get where you're coming from, and yeah, I'd love to see that kind of stuff in there too. I think that when the planets come out, there's going to be loads of different adventures and different utility that you can use the planets for. So yeah, I mean, I can't promise it, but I definitely think that's on the radar. Those kinds of things.
Like I know it ain't something that we'll be looking at immediately. I know they gotta actually get down the game playing mechanics first, like the actual foundation of the game first. And that's something they can worry about later. But if they can actually just put it in the books, like, listen, all right, we'll get to that. You know what I'm saying? But that'd be awesome. I feel like that'll actually bring in people from all around the world, because think about how many people will actually learn how to play the game just so that they can try to win Astropher, especially if they fix the LP and Astropher is like now $20 one Astropher now, or we start looking at maybe Bitcoin level of, saying that, wishful thinking, but that'd be awesome. People would actually spend money to make money.
Yeah, for sure. No, that's a dream, right? For sure.
And, hey, listen, might as well, because listen, it's a Web3 game and it's a play to earn. Like that's the best way to earn right there. It'll be PvP. People will grind, farm, do whatever they got to do to build the strongest mech, and it almost feel like you have a unlimited abundance of farming to do, which would be a good thing, but people will actually play the game more, and that's the goal, to get people to play the game, be heavily invested, have accounts, and grind and earn Astropher.
Yeah, for sure. No, I love it. Moon RT says objectives and rewards per season. I think that's in regards to the PvP thing Mr. NFT was talking about, and yeah, I definitely agree with that. Having leaderboards and stuff like that will be, I think that'll be kind of the end game goals of our PvP development. yeah, we just need, obviously we need to start off with having engaging game modes, which ties into the objectives, and then rewards per seasons for PvP, etc. Yeah, I really like that. Hope and Def was saying, yeah, more RPG elements would be super nice. Skill trees and morale meter. Yeah, I love the idea of the skill trees. I think that when we implement the fusion system, that should be, scratch that it. I can't really speak much about what the fusion system will be. Can't give that much details, but let's just say, look, the fact that I started talking about that when you brought up skill tree should say a lot. The morale meter, yeah, I like that idea as well, especially with the RPG. I don't know if you guys knew this, but Liam actually worked on Fable 3. He was one of the designers on that team, so it would be really cool to see some kind of Fable-esque
Oh yeah, for sure.
system in that. That'd be really cool. Yeah, really cool.
Hey,
Moving to like a
I got
sorry.
a quick question for you, Barker. How do someone sign up to actually be a potential writer, you know, co-writer inside of the story? Like, listen, I write amazing stories.
Yeah, well, so we have a narrative team, and they work with like the design team to make up these stories. I believe that most people that work for Blowfish in the narrative team, they've got degree. I think it's English degrees or some form of writing degree. And they usually have bodies of work that they show when they do job interviews and stuff like that. So yeah, potentially it's something. If you want to get into it, you could just develop a what's it called? Not a catalog, a uh,
Portfolio.
that's it. That's exactly it. Portfolio. Yeah, you can develop a portfolio, and yeah, start
That's the
applying for
position,
jobs.
Bluefish.
Yeah, we don't have any job openings at the moment for narrative people. I think we only have. I think it's a back end person that we're looking for at the moment. But yeah,
Is there a way that I can kind of just throw away some ideas? Because it's like, that's, you know, that'll be a journey to actually put myself in a position to even be able to do that. And then you said there's no open positions. Is there a way where I can just throw some ideas in there that they can
yeah,
maybe
you can definitely put
observe?
in the community content, and then tag myself into it, and I can share it with the team. Um, you can send it to me, and I can send it to the narrative people. I think so. Liam's the head of design and narrative, so I can send it to him, and I can send it to Sam, who is uh, probably the second in charge. I think. I'm not really sure how the narrative team structure is at the moment, but yeah, I can definitely send it on, and yeah,
I think that'll work. Awesome. I
for
think I'll try
sure.
that.
OpenDev says we just want Planet implemented in the game. Yeah, loads of people really want that, obviously, especially after they've spent so much money and waited for so long. I definitely understand why people want it in the game. Um, Obviously, we need the content to be developed further, or else realistically, we're going to have a Starfield situation where people get these planets and then nothing to really do on them. So yeah, obviously we're developing these kinds of things first before we get them on there. Hope and Def also wants to visit his planet so he can shoot some random native animals. I love, I love that idea. A little bit sadistic. A little bit sadistic. You want to colonize your planets? Nice. He's going to be a tyrant. But yeah, for sure. Once we get those planets developed and we get more tools, etc., in there, so that we can flesh out these, massive planets, we'll be able to release them, which will be really cool.
Hey, I'm
Uh,
joining a bit late, but I was wondering, could I just ask, have you touched on extra NXT utility for like pilots and starfighters?
no, I haven't yet. So that's a good question and a good point. So Liam and the team, they're looking into the different utilities, etc., that we can put onto the NFTs. We are investigating that at the moment. In the meeting that we just had, they specifically said it because we understand that it's a major, it's a pain point for the community right now is that basically there's no real reason to have these NFTs at the moment, especially after some very dedicated community members that spend a lot of money on these things.
Hey,
So yeah, obviously we're looking into these things, and in the next update there will be something that you should expect at least some further utility in the next update. It won't be the finished end result, but we're going to be starting to move in that direction as well.
And just building on that, are you guys looking at different tiers for different, like the class 1, class 2, class 3 are going to have different tiers somehow, and maybe Gen Zero has some kind of perks, or is it going to be kind of blanket? If you have a standard or a vet or whatever, it's all the same.
I would,
because there's the different tiers. There's the 55
Yeah.
Astropher standard NFTs, and then there's the 200 Astropher ones, and then there's the class 1 and 2. The class 1 was like 0.1 ETH, and then like obviously rarity on each one is different. So I was just curious how you guys are factoring in some of those different factors at this stage.
No, for sure. Yeah, so we're definitely going to be factoring in all those things. Each different class will have different perks, as we've kind of said from the beginning. I can't really speak so much about that right now. That's obviously something that would be a Liam question. I believe that we're going to be looking into different perks for each class, including the in-game utility, not just the what are they called, the hangars and the player quarters. But yeah, so I think the first implementation, it will most likely be NFT utility as a blanket thing, and then we will be moving further. The next steps would be each different NFT having a different utility. That's kind of from my understanding at the moment, but it might come out with each NFT having unique perks or utility from the get-go.
Yeah, I think that'd be awesome for the community to see what the plans are on that before it's released, if possible, too. Like just so we have kind of a gauge as to what the direction looks like, and that would help drive some of the desirability of NFTs in the meantime as we're waiting for some of these things. So that's kind of where that white paper comes in. It would be really helpful to see what the long-term plans are for all the different NFT tiers, including things like the hopeful, which kind of seems to have been forgotten, or at least feels that way. And then like the Gen Zero, which they're never going to mint out if we don't have LPs, obviously. But people are not rolling the extra mint passes for Gen Zeros because it's not really desirable, that kind of stuff. So that'd be really cool to get more info specifically on how they're going to benefit the players and have that information readily available so it's easily understood by new players coming in.
Yeah,
and to make sure that it's properly tiered in a way that it actually encourages people to want them, not heavily stacked towards just any pilot free to play even gets the same benefits. So I think that's the main thing that I wanted to just share as my feedback, is that it feels like NFT ownership is obviously lacking and needs a lot more advancement.
No, for sure. That's definitely something that we've identified as a pain point in the community, right? Like the studio knows that is something that we need to work on, and we will be looking into it. I am unsure if I'll be able to share early information on it, but I will try my hardest to get that out there for you guys. I promise. Yeah, sharing this information, it's very much based off of what I get the thumbs up for, right? I'll try my hardest. I'll see if I can, and I'm also pushing for everything that you guys want. I want to see that NFT utility in game. I want to see the differentiation, because I understand completely where you guys are coming from.
I want to say that I think that NFT utility, as far as avatars and mechs, run hand in hand with storyline. That's the only way to actually thresh out and see clearly.
I don't think that's necessarily.
Well, let me explain it first. Let me explain, right? Because I'm gonna give you an example, right? When they mentioned the hopefuls earlier on, in my mind, I thought like the hopefuls would be like this, like all powerful, like Star Wars like character, like using the Force, like they like the special people throughout all of the universe who can do things differently. I'm still hoping that the hopefuls, the Elpis, have special abilities that is beyond an average avatar. and that only that the hopeful, the people who own the 2,500, etc., whatever, can use. And you have to have Elpis in order to be able to do it. If you don't own one, you'll never be able to do it. You have to buy your way in or trade or whatever to get that Elpis. And the only way to actually be able to use it would actually be in storyline. Like if they actually gave us Avatar PvP or Avatar where we can actually run around an open world like an RPG and actually use our avatars and then summon our mechs and then actually go places and get in and out of our mechs and do things like where it's actually RPG. And to me, it'll feel like, okay, I'm getting my money's worth with my NFT utility.
Yeah, I think that's fair. There's also just adding to it other ways that you can add utility. Like a lot of projects use staking or governance as options. So, like maybe some of the early information is shared with hopeful holders or with planet owners first, or something, or have early access information that we can vote on, so we can help kind of direct some of the major questions. Like if the team isn't 100% sure where they want to go with something, maybe have like a little white paper put together of these are 3-4 options of what types of utility we're thinking. Where does the community think it's going to work? And then we can help guide which ones we think make sense and which ones might just have a negative impact. Because there's a lot of knowledgeable people who have a lot of Web3 experience that might be able to provide input as well to help guide that utility to make maybe staking functions or stuff like that too with the NFTs. So it doesn't have to just be in-game utility. Some of it can be also external. And that's where I think Web3 gives you a lot of power to kind of be creative with how you give utility to your users. And the team did really well with that at the start with doing airdrops and collaborations and grouping with other projects and stuff. And we just haven't seen a lot of that in the last year and a half, 2 years.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely agree that we are looking into the different forms of, utility, not just in-game utility as well. I have been wanting to develop a DAO for a while now. The main thing that I've kind of run up against with that, though, is that the player base isn't particularly big enough to kind of have a fully fleshed out DAO yet. So yeah, I understand completely where you're coming from, and I also hear where Mr. NFT is coming from. I get that as well. I think the best way to kind of sum it up would be that you'll be seeing, different in-game benefits to the NFTs, and you'll also be seeing different ecosystem benefits. But that's probably the best way to put it, to the different NFTs as well. So yeah, I hope that kind of clarifies it. I know that I can't be more specific as to what it is, and that might be a bit frustrating. But yeah, that's kind of how we're planning at this stage. Does that scratch your itch, Mr. Vex, or is there anything else you'd like clarified a bit further?
They can get.
I mean, it's fair. I understand you guys can't share it all yet, but I just think like we need a white paper or something that does have all that information at some point in the near future. So hopefully we can get some of it, even if it's not complete, but just start building it out and adding to it as you get more information. And as far as the governance piece, like you do have a large community of planet holders, which is they were intentionally supposed to be like the primary source of ask for, which would be the governance token. So you do have the option as well to kind of lean on that community. You don't necessarily need to have a giant player base in order to throw votes out to the community to kind of get feedback, and it could be non-binding too, but just like so you get a better gauge up front before something gets released. Like I'm just even thinking to the recent patches, or like the focus. You guys want to decide: should we focus on controls? Should we focus on PvP? Should we focus on whatever for the game that would make players happy? Like that's something that if you're thrown into a vote in a DAO and players would feel like they're being heard a little bit more, it would probably help with that community engagement and build that community effort. And then because there's utility to these NFTs, our community is going to grow more quickly. So you're going to get more users that want them, that are more engaged and participating in the project. So it's kind of like you say it's too early, but it's also like it's never too early, to start giving people a voice and make them feel like they're part of it, because that's the whole purpose of Web3. One of the major benefits you're missing out on.
No, that's a very good point. I'll be re-looking into that, and hopefully I'll be able to get some results soon I'll keep you guys in the loop where we're at with that. I'll talk about it next time at the Starside Chat. Cool. Okay, Hope and Death says, I think that the best way to describe what the players want is Star Wars epic space battles, PvE, and Gundam massive PvP battles with melee weapons.
It turns out when we say Star Wars, right? Like we don't not really like Star Wars. Like we like the mech avenue we in, but I mean like far as like the hopeful, right? Just give the people who got the Elpis, the actual hopeful owners, give us powers. Give us something that no other avatar got. Where it's like, see how, what do they call this in Star Wars? The Jedi. You see how the Jedi can use the Force, or how they like really good with lightsabers. I really want laser swords. It ain't got to be like Star Wars, but I want laser swords. Make it to where people who have Elpis, like we have stuff that no others have. Like even like for example, when we use our mech, make it to where a hopeful can use a mech to its full potential. Like it's like you can control the same mech, but if you put a hopeful in it, it's like it'll unlock the full power of it, and the mecha have extra stats to it, or maybe like it'll move a little quicker, or maybe you can use a special that only the Elpis can use. Something where people will actually covet the Elpis and covet to actually want to have that NFT, and that's it.
I think the original vision of those NFTs too was that the avatars would have special emotes and things that they could use, which is great. Anything they can get is good. But I think what this NFT says is a good point, that it needs to be more than just visual. Like it should be more than just, oh, you've got a fancy room you can go hang out in by yourself. It needs to be something that's actually meaningful in the game, that makes people feel like, hey, yeah, I want that. I want to be able to do what he's doing.
Yeah. No, for
And
sure.
I feel like that's actually what would actually make the NFT worth money. Like my imagination, I was thinking like, okay, how many people play Grand Theft Auto? Hundreds of millions. I see hundreds of millions playing PG as well, if we can accomplish the vision. And so it's like, it's only 2,500 Elpis. So millions of people playing this game, people are going to begin to spend money on those NFTs. They're going to become like Pokemon cards, where they gain value over time. Even these mechs. Later on, once millions of people come in to play the game, everybody's going to want a first class Origin Collection mech, because you guys are probably going to be introducing newer collections back in that time. So it's going to be like the older the collection, the more coveted it is. Not saying that the newer ones are not going to have value, because you might miss out on getting getting something out of a new collection, and you might be a vet. And now you missed out on that collection, and later on it is something that people love. So that give eternal value to the game, where people will actually like come back and like, all right, how much you want for that mech? Boom, I want 5,000 for it, and people will actually spend 5,000 on it, because everything in the game has value because of the utility. You know what I'm saying that like we can't be afraid to make some people jealous. If you wasn't there in the beginning, you may not have this. If you can have it, there's a way, but we can't please everyone. Like we can bring out newer things to please people, but let our Origin collection things be highly coveted, and that's going to add value to the game.
And trade volume on OpenSea, which is what pays the bills for, at the end of the day, like you guys are going to get a 5% royalty on everything it trades. So the more desirable the NFTs are, the more Galaxies makes of those as well. And when I say valuable, I mean like desirable, not necessarily expensive, but just something that people want to trade and own.
No, listen, the marketplace will determine itself, though. Listen, the marketplace will determine itself, because, like,
yeah.
If you have something that's one of a kind, that's why I keep saying Rivens. That's why I keep saying Rivens, because in the meantime, we're going to need something that's going to keep the marketplace going. I mean, going. And Rivens is it, because me and you can have the same weapon, but if I have a one of a kind Riven that gives me critical that gives me a corrosion damage and extra speed shooting, right? Then boom, I'm gonna kill you faster. And if you want something like this, you're gonna have to go out there and buy your own Riven. That's gonna keep the marketplace booming. See what I'm saying? And when I say Riven, I mean like say like it's like something you can attach to your weapon where you can actually spin Astropher to re-roll it. Say like if you don't like your stats, you can take a chance and re-roll it. You might get something you like, something that nobody else got, and that will have the market. The marketplace will determine itself because people will begin to collect these Rivens and put their own price on it, and it's probably going to start forming Riven mafias. But at the end of the day, it's going to have the marketplace booming.
Yeah, lots to think about. And there's definitely loads of ways that we can incorporate and incentivize the market. And yeah, I do like the idea of NFT weapon perks as well as NFT weapons and gears. And you know, we're definitely going to be doing the NFT weapons and gears. Yeah, we're just going to have to see, you know, what happens. This is, you know, that's
it's like you can literally, it's like you'll create a lane for them to do it too by perfecting patrols, by giving us raids. Because with these things, we can now get the components to build the weapon. You're going to need a Riven to max out on that weapon now. Guess what? You're going to grind and do things to get the Riven. Once you got the Riven, you're going to spend Astropher to re-roll that Riven. But then people, you can say like if you got a Riven you like, and it's going to be people who ain't got time to play the game. They're going to log in every now and then, and guess what? They got the money to buy a Riven. So be a gamer and you grinding, and so you're collecting these Rivens and you're re-rolling these Rivens, getting these high value Rivens, and guess what? You can put them up on the marketplace and now sell them. And people who ain't got time to play the game like you may have, they go up there into the marketplace and buy those Rivens. And guess what? You can put whatever price you want on it. You can charge them 400, 500, 600. If it's something that everybody want, I want 1K for it. You know what I'm saying? And what it's going to do is it's going to create a marketplace. It don't even got to be that expensive like Vex was saying. It could be something $30, $40. You know you're going to have things within that price range. But that method will actually have a marketplace booming because people want... And then it's a mech game. People going to want to, you know, suit they mech up, you know, level up their avatars the max they can, the most they can. And if we can fight, use melee, have powers, swords, everything, it's going to make it, we're going to be full at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
I think he's got the point.
Yeah. All right. So Hope and Dev has said enable free roam PvP toggle so we can kill each other while questing, or just enable players to complete PvE quests in PvP zones. Yeah, again, I really like that idea, and I'm sure it will be something that's kind of pretty simple to do. Again, that would be something that, you know, not the focus now. It may seem like a small job, but you know, we're dedicating all the resources into patrols, and you know, now we're also kind of doing the, you know, dedicating any side resources we have to developing the PvP further. So, yeah, definitely gonna have to see what happens, but that's definitely something I can see happening in the future. Moon RT.
Can I ask quick, just a different sort of vein of questions?
Yep.
Is there any information right now about like how the gear system is going to be adjusted or improved to make leveling gear more impactful and stats? Like currently, I think most people agree that stats don't really do anything. Like it doesn't matter if you have 10 maneuverability or 50 or 100, and leveling a gear from 1 to 100 doesn't make it actually any stronger if I've done like a slight power level increase, which only matters if you're below power level, but even then, not much. So is there any vision around that yet?
I can't really comment on any specifics, but you know, again, it kind of goes back to the fusion system. The fusion system is going to be kind of like, from my understanding, there's going to be the upgrade system as well as, you know, it's going to be the upgrade system in lots of things. That's from my understanding.
So fusion will kind of revamp the upgrade system.
Yes, yeah, that's the plan, Stan. So yeah, and that kind of flows on to Moon RT's question a little further down the line, but yeah, fusion system likely in 2024 or can be STC to 2025. I would probably say STC 2024. That's something that's been very much on our radar, and the design team have been working quite hard on that. I would probably label that as it's been our goal to have that done before the early access cutoff date, November. So yeah, I would definitely keep an eye on that, and tentatively I would say
Is
2020.
fusion system the same as manufacturers or what? Yeah, right, manufacturers, right?
The
Something like that.
manufacturer's system, I think, is like the different people who produce weapons.
Oh, okay.
I believe that was the distinction between them. So the manufacturers are the people who actually make the weapons, and the fusion system is the upgrading. So the manufacturer might be Rangers, Sonora, blah blah blah. That's from my understanding, and subject to change. And I'm sure if that was supposed to be public knowledge or not.
I
But
mean,
yeah. So I'm fairly sure that's how it is. STC, I may be wrong. Yeah. OpenDef also said, we don't want the hopeful to provide an edge or advantage in game, otherwise people would cry pay to win. I think we could satisfy that with special cosmetic upgrades, maybe an aura or weapon skin. Yeah, it's a balancing act, right? Because obviously we don't want to make it so that it's so blatantly powerful that people, who can't afford to put, $2,000 in for a weapon or 2,000 hours into the game can still come in and have fun. So I can't really comment on that. That's definitely something that's more of a design question. But yeah, I'm sure we are looking into the different ways that we can incentivize NFTs without making it too pay to win.
I mean, at some point, it's going to be a little pay to win because you can always pay, right?
Yeah.
Like even if you want to buy the best weapon that's been dropped, you can still pay to buy it from somebody. So I think it's unavoidable, and it's like that in every game. There's always some level.
yeah,
of
but
pay to
there's a
win.
difference, like having this and versus paying for just having that and nobody else unless you pay. I mean, if you get a drop, then it's fair, it's free real estate. But if
Listen,
don't, then there's a problem.
it's a good idea. It's gonna get the marketplace booming. Because think about it. It's the same thing like Rivens. If y'all can give us like weapons that we can put on the marketplace, but if you want that weapon, you got to do raids in order to collect the components. Once you collect enough components, maybe it's 4 components. Once you collect the 4 components, then you can combine them to make the weapon. People are not going to want to grind or do the raid or level up strong enough to get those to actually earn those components. So that's going to give them a reason now to go buy it off the marketplace.
Yeah, for sure. So we'll definitely be looking into ways to stimulate the market, get the in-game economy going. We know that it's something that we've been neglecting for a while now. But yeah, obviously the more content we put in, the further along we can get the in-game economy and incentivize people to actually buy, like, want to get the skins. I think that's the biggest, or not skins, the weapons, right? Like, it's cool to have all these weapons and have them sellable, but why would I have it if we don't have content? Why would I buy it?
I don't think y'all got to focus on the weapons yet. Like just kind of just master patrols. Give us a raid mode. I know y'all got to finish patrols to even get to raid, but give us raid mode. And then after that, maybe a couple more modes. Like I see, like we got a lot of space fighting now. We need to know what it feels like to be on land. And I'm gonna be honest, I think we can do better than what I've seen so far. Like I know that's just a little sample so far. With like when we actually go to I forgot the name of the planet, but it starts with an N. When we go to that planet and we're like in the actual land mission, it feels like he's rollerblading. The when he moves side to side, I think it's different now actually. But give us real world. Like give it, like these things will actually by giving it just by actually fixing the content, we'll be able to attach the market system to it and attach other things to it. But these things are the foundation,
Definitely. All right. Well, that's all the time we have. I think there's a couple of. There might be one question I can answer here quickly. Let me have a look at the chat. Oh yeah, not really. But you know what? Let's finish it off with Hope and Death. Ultimate ability, color 2, and Bedazzle the ultimate. Shoots extra fireworks when we use
Is
it.
anyone here a real person?
No, I'm not.
Maybe. I don't know. Never asked this question.
Very philosophical question. How's it going, Ken?
Hi.
All right. All right. Well, thank you all for joining me for Starside Chat. I really appreciate it. And I will see you guys next week for the next one. And don't forget about the community PvP event on Friday.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. See you later.
All right.